Like so many other ventures in the world of politics, the Cash for Clunkers program can be classified under the heading of "No good deed shall go unpunished." Despite the fact that this program addresses so many areas of concern in such a positive way, and so economically, there's still a lot of negativity being expressed from a variety of places concerning the effectiveness and justification of the program. I know many of you will bristle at my suggestion that the program is economical, but the $3 billion earmarked for it pales in comparison to the hundreds of billions we've spent in the bailouts of financial institutions that contributed so much to the creation of the problem in the first place. Last I remember, AIG alone cost us $125 billion and counting. And those rescue operations largely benefited Wall Street, not Main Street. Cash for Clunkers, on the other hand, clearly is aimed at Main Street. With rare exceptions, anyone driving and insuring a vehicle that qualifies as a clunker for the past year is probably in need of a financial jolt and was probably looking to run that clunker into the ground rather than opt for a new car payment, assuming it could qualify for a loan in the first place. So the program clearly is aimed at the right place and will stimulate sales where they probably would not have come from without the program. They're talking in the neighborhood of 750,000 sales as a result of the program, or about 8% of projected new vehicle sales for the year. Not bad, especially when you consider that most of those sales would not have occurred without the stimulus. There is a lot of questioning about whether all that happened was to pull sales forward. I think not. Most of these people weren't even thinking of buying a vehicle in the short term, and certainly not a new vehicle. And it helps those who qualified in so many other ways, decreasing their fuel costs, repair bills, towing bills, in many cases perhaps even lowering their payments. And it helps the rest of us in many ways as well. So many of those vehicles were severe polluters, as well as prime subsidizers of the oil-producing countries we support so well. Consumers are enticed into making more reasonable vehicle choices than they might have if they were not forced to purchase vehicles that must meet fuel consumption mandates. Dealers are getting a much-needed shot in the arm, as are many of their employees who have suffered as vehicle sales collapse. Vehicle inventories are extremely low, and manufacturers and suppliers will need to ramp up production and consider hiring or recalling laborers. Financial institutions may even consider lending again. Less fuel consumption should put some downward pressure on the cost of oil, and that helps all of us in a variety of ways. And it will have accomplished all that in just a few months and very quickly put the vast majority of the stimulus funds right back into the economy. We will even see some increased tax revenue as a result. Perhaps even traffic will flow better with fewer clunker breakdowns. What's not to like? Will it hurt some people? Yes. Certainly those independent repair shops that kept those clunkers running, at least sporadically. But all in all, you have to have a pretty negative outlook to find serious fault with the program. How will it affect the used vehicle market? Not a great deal, in my opinion. Many of those vehicles that are being scrapped were in the hands of their last owners anyway, and were pretty much beyond resale in the normal dealer channels. It will likely have a bit of a negative effect on the $5,000 to $12,000 price range vehicles that would have been likely replacement merchandise for many of these buyers had they not been influenced to buy new as a result of the program. We might expect that late model program vehicles would be affected negatively because so many new vehicles were bought instead. But inventories are so low in most mainstream vehicle segments that there will likely be some upward pressure in those markets as dealers look to find something to sell while they wait for new vehicles to fill the pipeline. So what we are seeing is some strengthening in late model mainstream vehicles and some slight weakening in aging higher mileage price range vehicles, unless they're exceptional in some way. The one segment that has been largely unaffected by the program and continues to have reasonable inventory and sluggish demand is the luxury vehicle segment, and they will likely continue to erode steadily as we move through the summer.